Hello guys, I hope the day is treating you well. My name is Danny Burke and we've got another video here for you on Most Amazing Top 10. Now today we have got the top 10 facts about smoking. These days everyone, including smokers, pretty much agrees that smoking isn't good for you. In fact, it's become so taboo within the mainstream media that a lot of people these days don't know anything about it. But knowledge is power, guys. So we're here to inform you about smoking, not encourage it. Just want to make that clear so nobody blame me. Good. Now, let's find out where smoking all started in at number 10. Many ancient civilizations smoked incense as far back as 7,000 years ago for religious purposes, but it was thought that the first tobacco smoking happened in South America. It's thought that smoking tobacco and other drugs was first practiced by shamans to contact the spirit world, but was eventually used by many other people for pleasure or as a social tool. As it spread to North American tribes, tobacco was smoked in a pipe and became widely used there. Even kids used to have a puff on the old pipe, apparently. They believed it was a gift from God and that tobacco smoke was capable of curing diseases and even carrying thoughts and prayers to heaven. At number 9, the Nazis were anti-smoking. There's a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life. When the Great Depression hit Germany hard in the 1930s and everyone lost a lot of money, Adolf Hitler was one of the first to condemn smoking as a waste of money for the German people and that it could be better spent elsewhere. The Nazis incorporated this idea into their reproductive policy. Messed up. They had this policy and it said that women who smoked were viewed as unsuitable to be wives and mothers in a German family. I would normally say I can't believe they actually said that, but we're talking about the Nazis here, so they didn't really have the best track record for saying decent things. At number 8, a lot of people throughout the history of smoking had a feeling that smoking was bad for your health. I mean, obviously everyone still coughed 1,000 years ago, but that feeling became fact when scientist Richard Dole first published in 1950 research showing the link between smoking and lung cancer. The evidence was irrefutable and the idea of smoking tobacco causing cancer became slowly accepted by pretty much all of society. Now it still took a while for the rate of people smoking to decline around the world, and big tobacco companies did their best to stop it because guess who loses money if people stop smoking? Tobacco companies. But Richard Dole's research and the work that came after it spoke very loudly and very clearly. Smoking causes cancer. At number 7, up until the 17th century, the term for smoking tobacco wasn't called smoking at all. When it was first introduced to Europe, tobacco was a foreign substance that people heavily associated with drinking alcohol. For this reason, many people referred to smoking as drinking tobacco, drinking smoke, or quite simply, dry drunkenness. Pretty weird, right? That was a term coined by anti-smoking preacher Jacob Bald. Or maybe he was anti-dry drunkenness preacher, is that the right name for him? Either way, people eventually realised that calling tobacco smoking might be a bit of a better name than dry drunkenness. I kind of agree, because top 10 facts about dry drunkenness isn't the most catchy title for a video. Now when most people think about smoking, they think of cigarettes or sometimes cigars, but at number 6 there have been many other methods for smoking over the years. Bidis are smoked in South Asia. They're basically tobacco flakes wrapped in tendu leaves and tied with string. Hookah originates from India and involves inhaling vaporized tobacco, and Kretek originated in the 1880s in Indonesia, where tobacco is mixed with cloves and flavouring sauce, and of course there's good old pipe smoking, which makes you go "oh" when you see an old man with one, and then you remember that all of these methods are pretty much as bad as each other and they all cause cancer. But it doesn't matter which method is used, it's always a choice. But next up, we're going to be talking about smoking without any choice. At number 5, it's passive smoking. Now passive smoking is often called second-hand smoking, and it's what happens when someone who isn't intending to smoke ends up inhaling smoke anyway. This exposes non-smokers, including children, and they're probably the most susceptible to it, to exactly the same kind of diseases and disabilities that smokers experience, and have been a huge factor when it comes to smoke-free laws. For many years, smoking was tolerated in public spaces because it was thought that generally the only person at risk was the smoker themselves, but scientific evidence began to show that this was not true, and that people nearby smokers could be in harm's way as well. In fact, one study found that in America, secondhand smoke caused the death of 3,000 people every single year. The public's awareness about the dangers of secondhand smoke are thought to have been a major motivation for the ban on smoking in indoor public places in many countries around the world. Is it banned indoors where you are? Probably, and if so, this is why. At number 4 now, although the long-term effects of smoking being very dangerous are well known, not many people realise how quickly the benefits of quitting smoking can actually happen. Within just 20 minutes of a person putting out their last cigarette, blood pressure in the body returns to normal. Within 12 hours, the oxygen and carbon monoxide levels in their body have become totally normal. And over the next few weeks and months, the body repairs a lot of the damage that smoking has done, and the risk of smoking-related illnesses such as a heart attack or a stroke are reduced by 50% after just 1 year. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking about quitting, just know that your body has got your back when it comes to repairing the damage. You've just got to give it that initial helping hand. Coming in at number 3, it is illegal for people under a certain age to buy smoking products in most countries. You guys probably all know that. But what you might not know is that in many of the same countries, it is totally legal for underage people to smoke. In most US states, the age at which you can buy tobacco products is 18, but there is actually no age restriction on being able to smoke it. It's the same in Australia, France, Denmark, Norway, Poland, Spain, and the Netherlands. It's exactly the same law, but most people presume that because buying tobacco products is illegal for minors, smoking them is too, but it's quite simply not. Parents are totally within the law to allow minors to smoke. I wasn't aware of this fact until I made this video. I think most people assume that if you're not allowed to buy something, you're not allowed to use it, but apparently not when it comes to smoking. Earlier on in the video, we talked about how quitting smoking can have so many benefits so quickly, and if you're a non-smoker out there, you might be thinking, well, if that happens, then why don't people just simply quit? Well, at number 2, it's not so easy because smoking is very addictive. 69% of smokers want to quit, but the one thing stopping them is nicotine, the main ingredient in smoking tobacco. When a smoker inhales, nicotine is absorbed into the body and delivered to the brain. The brain then releases an adrenaline which creates a buzz of pleasure and energy. Although that feeling does fade quickly, the desire for more stays. As the body develops a higher tolerance to nicotine, more and more is needed to achieve the same feeling. Although nicotine addiction is pretty much gone after 3 months of quitting smoking, many people still struggle after that point because they have positive memories and feelings associated with smoking. Perhaps it was their treat at the end of a long day or a ritual they did with their friends. Either way, these are reasons why, although a lot of people say they want to quit, many find it the hardest thing to do in the world. And now at number 1, despite how addictive smoking is, and despite cigarettes still being one of the biggest industries in the world, the rate of smokers are falling in a lot of countries. And that's with the exception of some developing countries out there like China. In America, for example, the smoking rate has gone from 42 to 15% since 1965. That's a huge drop. Changing social norms are one of the big factors. 50 years ago, it was completely socially acceptable for people to smoke everywhere and all the time. These days, not so much. There's laws banning smoking in many public places, and educating the public have also stopped a lot of people taking up smoking in the first place. And for the millions of people trying to quit, there are now much better resources and methods to help them. One of them is said to be e-cigarettes, which have become a booming industry over the last 10 years, with many people switching to them to help them wean off their nicotine addiction. Now, if you want to hear more about e-cigarettes, then I've got a video coming out talking about them on this channel. So meet me right back here, guys. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Keep watching if you want over there with 2 more videos. You can keep going right now. My name is Danny Burke, and you've been watching Most Amazing Top 10.